There is no one way of doing minimalism, but sometimes it can be helpful to have some tips to kind of guide you along so that you can make decisions for yourself and your family that make sense for you. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my 3 favorite simplification hacks, or rather questions that I ask myself to make sure that I'm staying on track and simplifying things in a way that I need. So let's dive in. Hello there friends, and welcome back to Simple Essentials. If you are new here, my name is Emmy and this channel is all about simplifying your life in as many ways as possible. A lot of the things I talk about is around budgeting, meal planning and organizing your space. But today I'm actually going to share with you, I guess, a very short but slightly philosophical perhaps topic, which is how do you know that you're simplifying your life in a way that works for you? Because there's a jungle out there of videos and principles and books on how you can do minimalism, and I certainly don't have a specific definition that I think works for everyone, which is why I love simplicity. Simplicity to me means peeling off the layers and getting to the core of things. So let's dive into my 3, I guess, sense checks that I have, especially if I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. These 3 tips are really useful to get me back to center, get me back on track, and make sure that I'm not complicating things more than I need to in the simplification process. So let's check out the first one. So the very first step is just to be really clear on what's important to you. And the thing is, a lot of us kind of know this already. If you don't really feel very clear on what's important to you, you can go through like a values exercise online. There's lots of different ones. I've actually written a blog post in my coaching channel about values, which I will link below if you're interested to read more about it. The short of it is, if you know what's important to you and you focus your energy, time, effort, all those things, your money in that direction, then you don't have to feel frazzled and confused as to what you should really be doing. Of course, you've got to compromise sometimes, but for example, I know that a huge value of mine, a huge thing that I love, is travel and exploring. I love traveling internationally, I love traveling locally, and it's a really big expression of who I am. And the pandemic has obviously made the international travel a little bit tricky. But nevertheless, there are lots of other things that you can do. So a lot of my time and energy goes to planning our next little adventure in our camper van, or where we're going to go for kind of a weekend drive and lunch and things like that. So that's just one of many examples. Of course, there are millions of different values out there that you can have, and there's no right or wrong, but get really clear on what you value, which leads me into step number 2. So the awesome thing is that when you know what's important to you, you can also stop apologizing for it and compromising on it. Of course, you have to compromise sometimes in a family or in a relationship if you value different things. For example, you might really love to travel and your partner loves staying home and watching movies and relaxing. You can find a blend of those 2 things, and you know, every second time you kind of follow what one person wants to do. And or you go and explore the things that are important to you separately, if that is something that works for you and your partner. But the key thing here is, do not compromise what's important to you. If you really don't like certain things, then find ways of being true to yourself and focusing your energy, effort, money, and time on the things that actually are important to you. If you really love going to, I don't know, Disneyland, and the rest of your family can't understand why you want to spend your money and time going to Disneyland, do not apologize. Just simply say, I love going to Disneyland and I'm going to go. And it doesn't really matter what thing is important to you. If you buy a really expensive computer, if you love getting your nails done and people go, why do you spend money and time on that? I don't understand. They don't have to, because it's important to you. So don't apologize, don't compromise too much. Compromise a little with your partner if you need to, but do not compromise what you are and what's important to you. And the third and final point that I often lean on is to allow myself to test and see how I like something. For example, if you are decluttering your home, you might not know if you need a certain object again, so you might just put it away in a box and see if you miss it. Or if you are remodeling a room, move the furniture around, test it out for a period and see if you like it. You could take this a bit further. If you're not really sure which part of a city or which part of a country you want to live in, try it on. Go and live in that city or that suburb for a few months, maybe rent or house swap with someone to just see if you actually like it. Because the problem becomes if we decide and we're really invested in how to do minimalism or where to live or how to be, then we've kind of fixed everything in, and it gives us no room for maneuvering and changing and modifying as we go. So that principle is a really important one, because some people might go, well, sometimes you just got to pick a lane, you've got to pick a path and go down that way. And of course you do. But if it's not working, you have to allow yourself to change it a little bit. Same thing goes for minimalism. If you need a little bit of a bigger wardrobe, if you need to do minimalism different to some of the videos you see here online, there is nothing wrong with that. Allow yourself to test and measure and change it if you need to. And that's really, I think, the best way to simplify your life. So in summary, know what you value and be really clear on that. Do not apologize or compromise on the things that you value or that are important to you. And allow yourself to test and measure. Allow yourself to see if you miss it, if it's not there anymore, or if you put it away. Allow yourself to test and learn and modify, because that's really what life is all about. So those are 3 simple principles that I use all the time, whether it comes to decluttering my home, whether it comes to deciding if I should go for a certain job or go live in a particular place, or simply just go attend a family event or whatever it might be. So I would love to hear what some of your minimalist tips are. I know that these might sound a bit philosophical, but they're really very simple. So let me know in the comments below what your favorite minimalist principles or questions that you have that help you stay on track or bring you back to center if you need to. I'd love to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.